Biography of Rosa Parks. Chapter 1. Early Life. Rosa Parks was born on February 4, 1913, in Tuskegee, Alabama, in the United States. Her birth name was Rosa Louise Macaulay. She was raised by her mother, Leona, and her grandparents after her parents separated. Rosa grew up in a time when African Americans faced many unfair rules and laws in the southern United States, especially segregation, which kept black people and white people apart in schools, buses, and many other public places. Rosa's family taught her the importance of education and standing up for what is right. She went to segregated schools, which meant that black children and white children attended separate schools with different quality of education. Rosa was always a strong and determined person, and she learned early on that the rules of segregation were wrong. At a young age, Rosa became involved in the civil rights movement. She was inspired by leaders like her mother, who fought against the unfair treatment of African Americans. Rosa wanted to see change and to help make the world a better place for black people. Little did she know, she would become one of the most famous figures in American history for her role in the fight for civil rights. Chapter 2. The Bus Incident. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks was on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, after a long day of work. At that time, segregation laws required black people to sit in the back of the bus while white people sat in the front. If a white person needed a seat and the bus was full, a black person had to give up their seat. On that day, when a white man got on the bus and there were no empty seats in the white section, the bus driver told Rosa to give up her seat. Rosa refused. She was tired of being treated unfairly, and she knew that standing up for herself was important. Rosa's simple act of defiance became a turning point in American history. Rosa's arrest sparked protests in Montgomery. African Americans, led by a young pastor named Martin Luther King Jr., decided to boycott the bus system. They refused to ride the buses until segregation laws were changed. The boycott lasted for over a year, and eventually, the Supreme Court ruled that segregation on buses was illegal. Rosa Parks' bravery had helped spark the civil rights movement into full force. Chapter 3. The Montgomery Bus Boycott. After Rosa Parks was arrested, a boycott was organized by African American leaders in Montgomery, Alabama. They decided to stop using the buses in Montgomery, which hurt the city's economy. For over a year, black people walked, carpooled, or found other ways to get to work and school. The boycott showed the power of peaceful protest and the determination of African Americans to fight for their rights. Rosa Parks became a symbol of the civil rights movement. People around the country learned about her act of courage. Martin Luther King Jr. became the leader of the boycott, and he advocated for nonviolent protests. Rosa supported him and the movement, though she was often a quiet and humble figure behind the scenes. The success of the Montgomery bus boycott was a huge victory for the civil rights movement. It showed that people could stand up against unfair laws without using violence. The boycott also brought attention to the need for greater equality and justice for African Americans in the South. Rosa Parks's role in this movement was a crucial one, as her actions helped ignite a much larger struggle for civil rights. Chapter 4. The Legacy of the Boycott. The Montgomery bus boycott ended in 1956 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional. This was a major victory for African Americans and the civil rights movement. Rosa Parks was celebrated for her role in starting the boycott, but she also faced challenges. After the boycott, Rosa and her family were forced to move from Montgomery due to threats and harassment. Rosa continued to work as a secretary for the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, an organization dedicated to fighting for civil rights. She was also involved in the movement for voting rights, working alongside other leaders to make sure African Americans had the right to vote without discrimination. Despite facing hardships, Rosa remained strong in her fight for equality. Even though Rosa Parks is most famous for her role in the Montgomery bus boycott, she continued to advocate for justice throughout her life. She worked tirelessly for civil rights and was a key figure in the movement for many years. Rosa's actions helped change the course of history, and her legacy continues to inspire generations of people fighting for justice and equality. Chapter 5. Challenges after the boycott. After the success of the bus boycott, Rosa Parks moved to Detroit, Michigan, where she and her husband, Raymond, sought a new life. Despite her fame, Rosa faced many challenges. She struggled to find a job and was often treated with prejudice because she was a well-known figure in the civil rights movement. Many people did not want to hire her, and she had to work hard to support herself and her family. Rosa also faced criticism from some members of the African American community. Some believed that she should have done more, or that her efforts were not enough. However, Rosa remained committed to the cause of civil rights, even when things were difficult. She never stopped working to improve the lives of African Americans. In Detroit, Rosa continued to be involved in social justice causes. She worked as an assistant to U.S. Congressman John Conyers, where she helped fight for policies that would improve the lives of poor and disadvantaged communities. Despite the hardships she faced, Rosa remained an important figure in the fight for equal rights. Chapter 6. Recognition and Awards. Rosa Parks' contributions to the civil rights movement earned her many honors and awards throughout her life. She received numerous accolades, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Congressional Gold Medal. These were among the highest honors given in the United States, and they recognized her courage and leadership. Rosa was also honored by the U.S. Congress, which declared her birthday, February 4th, as Rosa Parks Day in Michigan. Schools, streets, and public buildings across the country were named in her honor. Her life was celebrated in museums and exhibits, and she became a symbol of the fight for racial equality and justice. Despite all the recognition, Rosa remained humble. She always said that her actions were not for fame, but were a result of her deep belief in justice. Rosa never thought of herself as a hero. She was simply a woman who did what she believed was right. Her recognition was a reflection of the change she helped bring to America. Chapter 7. Continued Advocacy for Civil Rights. Even as she became older, Rosa Parks continued to advocate for civil rights and social justice. She traveled around the world, speaking about the importance of fighting for racial equality and justice. She met with other leaders, such as Nelson Mandela, and encouraged people to continue working for peace and equality. Rosa Parks never stopped working for change. She participated in marches, spoke at rallies, and met with leaders to discuss how to improve conditions for African Americans. Her belief in nonviolent protest and equality was unwavering. She remained dedicated to the cause of civil rights until her death. In the later years of her life, Rosa also became a role model for young people. She inspired many to continue the work of fighting for justice, equality, and fairness in society. Rosa showed that one person, through small acts of courage, could change the course of history. Chapter 8. Health and Later Years. As Rosa Parks grew older, she experienced health problems, including hearing loss and arthritis. Despite these challenges, she continued to speak out for the rights of others. She was committed to helping those who were still facing discrimination and inequality, and she made sure to use her voice to advocate for change. In 2004, Rosa Parks passed away at the age of 92. Her death was mourned by millions of people around the world. Leaders from across the globe, including former U.S. presidents, spoke out to honor her legacy. Rosa Parks had become a symbol of hope, courage, and the fight for justice. Her funeral was attended by many prominent figures, and she was remembered as one of the most important people in American history. Rosa Parks was laid to rest in Detroit, and her legacy continues to inspire those who are fighting for justice and equality. Chapter 9. Rosa Parks' Legacy. Rosa Parks' legacy is one of courage, strength, and determination. She showed the world that one simple act of defiance could spark a revolution. Her refusal to give up her seat on the bus helped change the course of American history and brought national attention to the civil rights struggles faced by African Americans. Her life and work have inspired countless people to fight for justice. Rosa Parks proved that even in the face of fear and adversity, it is possible to make a difference. Her story is taught in schools around the world, and she continues to be a symbol of the power of peaceful protest. Rosa Parks' legacy lives on in the ongoing fight for racial equality and civil rights. Her example reminds us that each of us has the power to make a change, and that standing up for what is right can bring about powerful change. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as a courageous leader who fought for justice and equality. Chapter 10. The Importance of Rosa Parks Today. Rosa Parks' legacy is not just about what she did in the past. It is about the lessons she taught us for today and the future. Her courage reminds us that fighting for what is right requires standing up against injustice, even when it seems difficult. Rosa's example shows that we can all make a difference by acting with integrity and standing up for equality. In today's world, many of the struggles that Rosa fought for are still ongoing. People around the world continue to fight for civil rights, racial equality, and social justice. Rosa Parks' story reminds us that the fight is not over, and that each generation must continue to work for a fairer world. Her actions and her legacy continue to inspire millions of people around the world to stand up against discrimination and fight for justice. Rosa Parks may have passed away, but her spirit of courage, kindness, and equality lives on, influencing countless people and movements today.